Hello, welcome to a special episode of Meet the Experts. And here we have the expert of all experts, Dr. Nikki Washington, and she's going to educate us all about perioperative nursing. I don't know about you, but I don't really know too much about what goes on in the operating room, so I cannot wait to hear. Dr. Nikki, welcome.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for having me. It's an honor.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing. And it doesn't matter if you're here in the States or from around the world, this conversation is for you. But before we get started, I just had a few rapid questions I wanted to ask Dr. Nikki so we could get to know her a little bit. So, Dr.
Absolutely.
Nikki, you ready?
Yeah, right.
Okay, perfect. So, if you could share just one piece of advice with your younger self, what would it be and why?
Well, I would tell my younger self to not let fear hinder your growth or hinder my growth and opportunity.
Beautiful, beautiful.
I planned on traveling much earlier on in my career.
Okay.
Time went by because I allowed fear to hinder me. Um, and I would just remind myself if I could go back and just look at myself and just say, sweetie, just listen to me. Take a page from my book.
Yes.
Don't allow fear to hinder you. Nursing is a gift. Allow God to position you in the right place. That way he can expand and cultivate your gifts because it's not for me anyway. It's for him, right? And it's for his people. And so allowing the fear to do that, it hinders that.
Mhm.
So even though I didn't do it then, I still did it in the right timing because this is the right time.
Yes.
But if I could tell myself, I would remind her and just give her love and hugs and let her know, baby, it's okay. Don't be afraid. Just allow God to lead you where you need to go.
Absolutely. And I am inspired by you because you are in California, but that's not where you're from, right?
No, if you cannot hear it, I am from Houston, Texas.
I love it.
And so I ended up in California in 2021 on an interim travel assignment. And I
Okay.
always said I was going to work in California. I've been saying it for years, and I never took that step.
Okay.
So God pushed me out of my comfort zone, and I'm here.
Yes. And I see you have you're not also a doctor of nursing practice, but you also have your MBA. How was that experience for you?
Oh, let me tell you about that.
Oh, tell me, girl.
So I was in school for my MSN originally.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, wait a minute. This is a little bit much. It's a lot of papers, and I don't see how this is going to help me. I was 9 hours away from completing my MSN.
Oh,
And so I stopped and I transitioned over into the MBA. I was speaking with one of my colleagues, and his name is he's one of my mentors also, Dr. Napoleon Player the third. And so I was like, or the second, don't quote me, Polo. But anyway, he encouraged me. He said, well, Nikki, look at your MBA in healthcare administration or healthcare management. And so I looked at the curriculum and I was like, oh, I like this because it touched on the operational portion
mhm.
of healthcare.
Yes.
I was like, I love it. And so I pursued my MBA in healthcare management. And so I got that one. But once that was over, I don't know, I guess I tortured myself with education.
Oh,
Since I only had 9 hours left to complete my MSN, I
then,
went ahead and completed the MSN.
good.
Yeah.
You did all the work. You might as well get the
I may as
paperwork.
well, right? And then what could I tell my children later on in life if they started something and didn't finish? I wouldn't have any grounds to stand on to tell them to complete it if I didn't do it myself.
Absolutely. That's amazing. Now, I wanted to find out because now you're in leadership. And so, if you were talking to some leaders and you were really sharing with them one thing that you want to transform the healthcare system, what is one way you would impact change and help healthcare?
Right. What I would really do, and I'm very passionate about this, is equitable healthcare for everyone,
Okay.
regardless of their disparities, regardless of demographics, because I think everyone should be afforded the opportunity to have optimal patient care. It shouldn't be contingent upon your dollar signs per se. I
Okay.
think we should look at everyone as a patient and not just look at the financial aspect. Yes, the financial aspect contributes to it, but
Mhm.
when we think about, care in the long run, like with preventative care and the healthy nation and healthy patients, that starts with preventative care.
Mhm.
And if people don't have access to it, then you have the comorbidities that show up later on because we could not address it early on because of the lack of resources. So I really think everyone, despite disparities, should have equitable health care. I think it'll be a gap in communities such as where I am now. I'm in a community hospital, and there's a lot of disparities with maternal fetal.
Okay.
Fortunately, I think items like that need to be addressed, and I think if it was equitable for everyone, it would be a lot more manageable than what it is now and a lot more controlled of what we see.
And I love that I asked you about your MBA because you have more of an operational view of things. Not just as nurses, we could be bleeding heart syndrome. We want the best for everyone, but we don't know the payment system behind it. So I'm glad as a leader, you are the director, you see both the operations and you still are advocating for equitable healthcare. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Now, I have a question for you as far as becoming a peri-operative nurse. What if someone's looking in and they say, I always was curious about surgery, but I have no idea what skill sets do I need? What do I need to how do I even get in? What would you say are some of the major skill sets of a perioperative nurse?
Um, I would tell anyone that's interested in perioperative nursing, do your research.
Okay.
Search the information on your own, just to get an idea of what you're looking into.
Mhm.
Interesting fun fact, I started off as a surgical tech before I became a nurse. So I've been in the OR almost 30 years.
Wow.
I knew nothing about what a surgical tech was. I had no idea. And I
Okay.
applied for it and got accepted. And I walked into an amazing field because it introduced me to the OR, but I didn't do my due diligence to research, what was going on. And I
Okay.
think with anything that you have an interest in, you should do the work, do the research. That way, if there are particular questions you may have, you'll know what to ask.
Mhm.
And right now there is a lot of information online.
Mhm.
Um, I wouldn't necessarily trust everything that's online because it's not always verifiable. But there is a lot of information online about OR nursing. So I would tell them to do their research. I would also tell them to go to the AORN website
Mhm.
because there's oh my God, there's so much information and resources, not just for OR nurses, but for any nurse and anybody, even non-licensed personnel that have an interest in anything that happens in the operating room.
Oh, wow.
Yes, a lot of information, just the wonderful information. I just love the, oh, I'm very passionate about it.
Yeah.
I would also tell them to, if they are working at a hospital, there may be an opportunity for them to reach out to the operating room leadership to see
Okay.
if there's an opportunity to view the OR, not necessarily a procedure, because then you have to get into the legalities of it with the consents and making sure the patient gives consent for their operation to be observed.
Mm-hmm.
But what you can do is just view the area, the operating room, go into an empty operating room itself, because there's so many cute and neat toys in the operating room, robots, so that people can see that. That's how we attract people in here. We take them where the
Yeah.
toys are, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so introduce them to those aspects, to the technology of what goes on in the operating room. And
Okay.
if someone has an opportunity, if they have a patient that is having surgery,
Mm-hmm.
that may be an opportunity there for them to follow their patient all the way through that surgical process.
Okay.
So that's an
Okay.
interesting way also. I know with AORN, if they call just to get some other information,
Mm-hmm.
they can ask questions, certain questions about how to get access or how can I speak with someone to
Okay.
learn more about operating room nursing, and
Oh.
it's there. So the opportunity is there for everyone to listen to. There's chapters. AORN. So there's big AORN. I say that's the big global umbrella. And then there's little branches from a tree.
Okay.
All of the chapters, the local chapters are the branches. And
Okay.
perhaps if there's a local chapter, they
Yes.
could always reach out to the local chapter of AORN and attend one of their meetings.
Okay.
That's a great networking opportunity.
It is. Now, you mentioned to me that there's actually a shortage of this specialty nurse in the operating room. What is one of the barriers you think is causing the shortage?
I think one of the barriers is the lack of awareness, the lack of exposure. I can remember when I was in nursing school, I didn't get any days in the OR.
Yeah.
I was just lucky to stay here because I was a tech first,
Oh,
but you really don't get a lot of days in the OR.
mhm.
Um, where I am now, there weren't a lot of nursing students coming through the OR either because it's just not part of the curriculum.
Yes,
And so that's a gap. And so you don't learn about anything that you're not exposed to.
that's true.
And so the big things that they talk about in nursing school is going to be the emergency room, the ICU, and the med surge floors.
Yeah,
And you may get a little L&D, sprinkle here and there, but you really don't get a lot of the procedural areas, the ORs, the cath labs, and IRs. You don't get those specialty areas.
wow. So we do need to raise awareness.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Now, how does your current body of work align with the powerful impact and legacy that you personally wish to leave behind?
So what I currently do, not just here, but in the community, with here incorporating the nursing students into the OR,
Mhm.
speaking with their instructors at the nursing school, allowing them, getting permission for them to come a day or two, just add some space in the curriculum of their clinicals,
Mhm.
their rotations to come rotate through the operating room.
Yeah.
We had two different nursing schools that we did that with. Couple of people we kept. Some of them, I don't think we got them early enough because I think you need to you need to expose them to the
Yeah.
before their senior year of being a nursing student because by that time they have their mind made up.
Mhm.
But just opening that door, creating that pipeline with the nursing schools, allowing them to come and rotate through the OR. A lot of what I'm working on also is in the community, going to the schools and speaking with the nursing students, not just the senior nursing students, but the nursing students that are just entering the field, that are in school,
Yeah.
right? Beginning years, to introduce operating room nursing to them then, along with resources such as AORN, because they can register, they can join as a student at a huge discount, but they still have the same access as the member, as the normal member.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so just introducing those things, working with the community, bringing awareness to the community
Mhm.
and letting it fall on the community, working with the schools to make a curriculum for operating room nursing to be incorporated into their clinicals.
Mhm.
So extending here, starting small and local,
Yes.
but a legacy of making it global. It's there are platforms now where it is in certain nursing schools, but it's not a lot.
Okay.
So I hope my passion is contagious. I hope my legacy remains contagious.
Yes.
And I think a way that I can continue to do that is to do my part. And I tell people my part is being passionate, is being authentic, is being resilient, and being tenacious about my involvement and intentional involvement in perioperative nursing, bringing that awareness forward so everyone is abreast to what is an operating room nurse,
Mhm.
going to these schools, speaking to children. You know,
Yes.
when kids are young, they want to be a doctor or a lawyer. Well, what about an operating room nurse?
Yes.
Exposure early on.
Yes, this is so powerful. And this is why I have this show because there are a lot of people with your passion out there, and they may be on the other side. They may want to expose their students to what you're doing at such a early age, or early in the program, but they don't have the connections with the hospital. They don't have the connections to actually, with the organization, to actually create the pathway.
Right.
So you are one end and the viewers on the other end. So this is beautiful because nurses all around the world, they may want to emulate your model in bringing this to the community.
Absolutely.
Oh
And
my.
that's what I would want as my legacy for it to not expand, not only through California, but at an international level as well.
I love it because you said the organization, the Association of Perioperative Nurses, it is, it's not just American nurses, it's nurses
Oh,
all around the world.
yes. We have a huge international base also.
That's excellent. That's excellent. Well, I really support your vision and your legacy. I have another question here for you. What is one impressive or meaningful thing that you have done or been a part of that most people may not know about?
So when I talk about incorporating the nursing, perioperative nursing curriculum into the nursing schools, I was fortunate enough in Houston. So there's a couple, I don't want to particularly say the names, but there are a couple of nursing schools that now have the OR elective embedded in their curriculum. Well, before all of that, I was fortunate enough to be able to work with the pioneers
Oh,
that started that. And so I'll say three of the major pioneers. I'm sure there were others, but these were three major pioneers that transformed me and my nurse, the trajectory of my passion for the OR. They played a big part of it. So Jenny Baird, Debbie Belgard, Beverly Griffin, they were educators. They were more than just educators. They were visionaries. They were pioneers in perioperative nursing.
mhm.
So before the elective was an elective in the nursing schools, we did it at the hospital. And so all of that work was done in the hospital. They brought it to the hospitals in the classrooms to the research centers so we could do the hands-on portion with the nursing students. So it started with their vision. And so to be able to work alongside them
Mhm.
to bring their vision and to be a part of their vision and to now see where it has transformed into,
Mhm.
that's amazing to me. Because of that, and because they saw something in little old Nikki as a young nurse, that transformed the trajectory of my career. It made me look at OR nursing in a whole different light and in a whole different capacity and fashion. And I think it drove me into being a better nurse and a better educator because we're all educators in some capacity, just like we're all leaders.
True.
But that exposure within itself, it just kind of fueled the passion that I didn't know I had. It ignited it. And so I don't think a lot of people know that because I don't talk about it enough.
Mhm.
They just see, or I just talk about what I do now. Well, it's a root to where it started from.
Mhm.
And that was the root. Debbie Belgard, Jenny Baird, and Beverly Griffin.
That is amazing. What a tribute to these amazing nurse visionaries. I'm thinking we don't honor our legacy nurses enough because they have pioneered some amazing things that we have today. And I'm glad that you are alive and ready to tell and honor them publicly in a forum like this.
Yes, absolutely.
Now, I wanted, if you wanted to leave, not every nurse watching this will be a perioperative nurse. But if you could leave one thing with the nurses who are looking on here, what is one thing you think every nurse should know about perioperative nursing?
I think
Besides you exist. Besides you
I
exist.
know, right? I think every nurse needs to know because OR operating room nurses, we get a bad rap. And there's this perception that we don't utilize critical thinking skills. that it's not
Okay.
real nursing and that we don't utilize critical thinking skills when that is far from the truth. We actually look at the whole patient. We take a holistic approach to every patient because we have to. So
Mhm.
we have to incorporate all of the comorbidities in order to plan optimal care for each surgical patient, and it varies for each patient. So it's not a cookie cutter where you have this patient and you use this method. There are some similarities, but each care plan is specific to each patient.
Mhm.
And these are surgical patients. So they can't tell you what they need.
Yeah, they're on the.
Right. So you have to plan accordingly. They can't tell you that their position is not correct. We as OR nurses have to know the correct positioning and padding to make sure they're padded appropriately and they're aligned appropriately to prevent injuries. Because again, they're asleep, they can't tell you, oh, my arm, they can't tell you that.
That's true.
Right. And so there could be limitations in mobility. We have to be creative and safely position these patients and keep them safe. We
Wow.
have to know what their labs are
Yes.
and communicate as a team with anesthesia. So we do critically think and we do have care plans that we still have to come up with.
Yeah.
So it's real nursing, it's real, and we do critically think. So I would like to just get that out there because we have such a bad rap, and it's funny, and it's okay.
Yeah.
But when that's why I'm explaining to people and
Mhm.
making in the awareness known that it's real nursing.
Yes, it is real nursing, and I honor you for standing up for our perioperative nurses. I also think that we're so siloed in nursing that they kind of stick us in a niche, but you could be a nurse, an experienced nurse, and become an operating room nurse. So it's never too late for someone to join the operating room and try it out. See, they might like it.
Absolutely. Mhm.
I wanted to not ignore that there are people who are non-clinical that tune into this. So, usually as nurses, we all know preparing our patients for surgery is one of the most scariest parts. People are so nervous about the operating room. If you can speak to maybe someone who is a patient or maybe has a family member who is about to undergo surgery, what is one thing you could share about the operating room and the role that a nurse plays in the whole orchestra of surgery?
I will say this. It's unique. Okay. The operating room nurse is in the room with the patient the entire time they are in surgery. They don't have any other patient competing priorities. Um, there's one nurse to one patient at one time. And so we're there holding that patient's hand. They may not remember us because of the anesthesia, but we're there holding their hand when they go to sleep. We're there when they're waking up. We're there to make sure it's safety in the environment of safety in the operating room. We're there to make sure and to govern the room throughout the entire procedure. So it's them and them only. And that's the unique portion of operating room nurses. It's not one nurse for 5 and 6 patients. Okay. It's not even one nurse for 2 patients. It's one nurse, one patient at a time. And so for patients, like I said, they may not remember us, but they should know that we are there with them, advocating for them the entire time. We never leave their side.
Yes, that's beautiful. I don't think many people see the background of what you
Right.
do, of your
Right.
work, but you're still a nurse, you're still advocating for your patients, and you're still giving excellent care, saving lives every day. And I thank
Absolutely.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for joining. Thank you for sharing with us about perioperative nursing and being such an advocate. Okay, audience, I asked Dr. Nikki all of my questions. I asked her everything I wanted to know about perioperative nursing. But what about you? Do you have any questions? Do you have any comments? No slide remarks, okay? Just love to Dr. Nikki. please let us know what I know different countries, you have different experiences. Leave it in the comments below. We would love to hear your comments and your questions. We'll make sure Dr. Nikki sees it. For you who are nursing students, advocate for yourself. Get into the operating room. If you want a mentor, reach out to Dr. Nikki, connect with her. She is here on LinkedIn. Thank you, Dr. Nikki, so much for joining our show. Thank you, viewers, for sticking with us. I hope you were enthused by perioperative nursing and now you're an advocate for it as well. We will see you next time. If you're not yet subscribed, subscribe to The Spark is Love on YouTube. And we will see you on our next episode. Thank you for joining.